Well, hi everybody. It is 4 o'clock Arizona World Standard Time in the center of the universe in Sedona and Rimrock. We're excited to have you this evening, this morning, this afternoon, wherever you are. Nick, how are you tonight?
Better, bit by bit. Thank you for
Good,
checking. All right.
good, wonderful. I'm sure Dr. Geshe Michael is. Oh, look, there he is.
You
Birdie
spotted them?
as ever. I found him. I spotted a genuine Geshe Michael in the wild.
Whoa.
Look at all this. Hey, Nick,
Yeah.
what time is it?
11 p.m.
What time would you like it to be?
Xiaoping, what time is it?
7 a.m.
Wow, I can make everybody miserable. Yay.
The beauty of
Nick,
Sunset.
Nick, Ben, you got anything? Nick, I finished 100 pages of your book today. Yay.
Wow. Exciting.
Okay, I think we got homework, Xiaoping.
Oh, yes.
No, not homework.
Work.
Work.
Oh, sorry.
Because all the mixed nuts will be like,
Sorry. I should share the no answer one.
Ginger. Something ginger.
Sorry, I'm trying to hide the answer. 1 minute. Okay.
we might be able to answer it better if you just show the answers.
Yes. So today's homework very simple is some basic information about our new test on Vinaya. So first one, what's the title of the new Vinaya test that we are working on and the meaning of the title? Anybody?
It is shown up in the chat.
Oh, let me see. Oh, yes. Oh, by Venerable Upala.
He
A
wrote the
James
book.
of the true intent. Yes. And what's the meaning? True intent. Meaning, this book will tell us the true meaning of the Vinaya Sutra. Yeah, what did Lord Buddha really mean when he taught Vinaya? Yes, and who is the author of this text?
Geshe Nawa.
No.
Oh, Panchen, Lodru, Leksang.
Yeah, Venerable Panchen Lodru Leksang, and he's not a Panchen Lama. Yeah. And what's third question? Who is Upali?
He's a guy who requested a lot of teachings from Lord Buddha.
And anything else?
Well, I'm guessing he requested a famous teaching that is about Vinaya.
Yes, he is the first Vinaya holder. So Upali was a close disciple, student of Lord Buddha, and he was very interested in the conducts of monks and vows, and he's famous as the first Vinaya holder. Yeah, thank you. And I saw Venerable Pala answer it in the chat. Okay. Vocabularies. Then first one.
Classical commentary.
Yes. Second one. Oh, Ken.
Nian.
Oh, Nian. Yes, friend, Venerable Pala. Third one.
Ni Me Nian. Friend of the sun.
Yeah, friend, Ni Me Nian, friend of the sun. What does it refer to?
The Buddha.
Oh, yes, Lord Buddha. Shakyamuni Buddha. And yeah, and that's all for the homework. I didn't put a translation attempts here. I don't know which paragraph schedule want me to do in this class. Thank you. Geshe, you are muted.
Just kidding. How's it to be home? Do you feel happy?
Oh, yes. Also very, very busy.
Yeah, you get some decent food, right?
Oh, yes. Yeah, from family.
But I think you can't get cinnamon rolls there.
Yeah.
Yeah, very sad.
Hang on, my tech guy's still working on it.
Okay.
Okay, here we go. Back.
That's better.
Oh, sorry. Okay, unmute again. Here we go.
Geshe, there's echo from your side.
That's my hollow stomach. Waiting for pizza.
It does sound like there's a second mic going on in the tower.
Us okay? Can you hear us okay?
Can you hear us?
Yeah.
Now it's okay.
Oh, we're on mute.
No. This is can you hear us? Okay, good.
You fixed it. You've repaired the issue. Well done.
No, so yes or no? Yes, right? Okay. Cool.
Yes.
Anyway, so gang's getting a lot of exercise running back and forth. Can you hear me okay, Nick? Nick,
Yeah.
give me
yeah,
a
you sound
thumbs up.
great.
You can hear me.
We can hear you.
All right, here we go. Let's see here. Oh, so we found a new scan. We decided, if you remember our last class broadcast from Diamond Mountain, that this is extremely unusual case where we have two different carvings of the same book, and they're both pretty good. And one seems to be more sophisticated than the other. And we did spot checks throughout the whole book. The book is massive. It's going to take 40 years to finish. But we had used it before for the first Vinaya book that we finished. So we did some spot checks based on that. And we decided to input a second carving. We found a kind of a more sophisticated carving. And it's very strange, you know, just like as if someone went through and fixed every fifth or sixth word, upgraded it. So it's a subtly upgraded book of the same carving, you know, it's weird. So it had the whole thing input by our input centers, and you guys have to bow down to our input centers that have been working for 35 years. And they did a wonderful job. And we got it back and we grafted it in to what we had done already. So that was a lot of work by some old man. And now we're ready to go ahead again. So, yeah. Yeah, and we input both parts of the text. The text was traditionally written in two pieces and carved in two separate carvings. And we input the new edition of both carvings, and we reintegrated the first volume with the old first volume, and we added the second volume. So now it's a massive book. it will be 3,200 pages in English. It will take about 50 years to finish. Okay. Oh, money. Okay. I thought you guys might like to know some information about the author. How we got to this book was, since we started Diamond Mountain in 2003, I was working on some Vinaya translations with Venerable Chuki. And we worked for a long time. We translated some of the rituals for making monks and nuns and things like that. And we kept looking into the database. The database has, I don't know, about 10,000 pages of ancient ethical works. And we went through them looking for help. And we kept hitting the same book by this person. And we don't know the book, we don't know the person, but for the last 20 years, every time we need Vinaya information, it's the best hit we get in the search program. So we decided to translate him. And we don't know much about him. He was a throne holder of Tashi Tumbo, which is the Panchen Lama's home monastery to the southwest of Lhasa. And all that we know was that he was the 9th abbot of that monastery. And we know the dates of the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 7th. And so based on that, we can estimate that he was born around 1510, which is about 100 years after Tsongkhapa, roughly. And then he was, I would say his active or floret dates are 1550. And we don't have any better information than that. And I've looked hard for several years and I can't find anything better. Here's a little bit about his life that we used in Sugang's book, his first book on the Wheel of Life, which we finished recently and is now in final editing. It'll come out in the spring, and it's going to be the basis of the next DCI level. So it's a wonderful book by Kedub Temba Dargye, who is about the same time as this author. And Kedub Temba Dargye is a Ganden Tipa, one of the early Ganden Tipas, and he was the textbook writer for Serame. Most of our textbooks come from him, quite long and quite complex. We're trying to get a copy out of the library in St. Petersburg, which we cataloged there, for Tim to translate. Tim's working on that text. We have one copy that's not as good as the one in Russia, and we're negotiating with the people in Russia. And the negotiations are going pretty well. Just a question of, how painful it is for us. Okay. Yeah, so here's some information about him. And there's a saying in the monastery that you learn more about an author from their books than from their biography. Like you can tell more about a person from what they write than from, their birth date and their parents' name and stuff like that. So it's a tradition to study this author that way, through his writings more than, okay. Here's some information about his teacher, whose dates we know. And normally there's a 30-year gap between a teacher and their student in this lineage for the last 100 generations. It's about 30 years. Because by that time the teacher is, has studied a lot, and also their student has shown some seriousness by that time. So it's usually 30 years. There's a big exception with Jetsongkhapa and Gyaltsabje, who are only, I think, 12 years apart. And that's very unusual. All right. Yeah, there's some estimates about him and some more information. A lot of what we know about authors comes from the colophon, which is the introduction to their books, which in this tradition come at the end of the book. And so we do know that he spent time at Shartse. Shartse is one of the two colleges of Ganden Monastery. Okay, just Zhangze and Shartse, which means eastern tip and northern tip. Okay, and we have a few other books by him, mostly lower middle way, and something on the Abhidharma Kosha. He's going to mention his own other books in today's reading, and I'm not sure if we have the books he mentions, but we're still looking for them. Here's the information from BDRC. BDRC was founded by Gene Smith, as you guys know. He was obsessed with biographical information about teachers, and he kept very, very careful notes, and he interviewed many, many high lamas in his life. He would often go to high lamas and ask for biographical information, and he would take careful notes of it in a database program called Ask Sam, which was a, what do you call that? When it's when the format is peculiar to one company.
Proprietary.
It's a proprietary database software. The company went out of business one day. He lost all his data. He lost all of his records. You know, decades of time spent with teachers because there was no program anymore that could read the records. So that's why ALL will never depend on a particular database, proprietary or private company. We have always tried to incorporate the search mechanism within the operating system of the computer itself. So as long as the architecture of computers remains the same, which it hasn't changed since the early 1980s, our search programs and our data will still be usable. As long as computers exist, personal computers, ALL's database will be readable on any machine. And that's something we did. And Gene Smith's suffering is a good reason why to keep doing that. It's any other private company, Microsoft or some, they can just go out of business tomorrow. And you know, the AI director got fired yesterday. And no, open source. OpenAI got fired 3 days ago, and he got hired by Microsoft yesterday. So I mean, things change like that, and then the whole system changes, and then you can't use your data. So luckily, ALL is not like that. Okay, here's some comments from BDRC, and yeah, this is the BDRC info for the version that we used, and now we're ready to start the book. Yay! Let me get you a big cursor. And visibility, display. Okay. Xiaoping, are you still there?
Yes.
Okay, I can't see you. I don't mind. We got this. You've kind of been replaced as the youngest lady member of our translation team. We got Sushumna here today.
Oh, wow, Sushumna.
Okay, please read, and then you can choose somebody else to read.
Oh, okay. Tân trong tu hòa đó giàu wei trích đông tích khả trên ring trên tre wei không kiên sẽ trao hòa suk sok.
Yeah, hang on, we got a problem right away. Okay, Tik Chen, Rin Chen Tenwei Gongken. This is the title of the book. We're about to start a 50-year project. We're on the first sentence. This is always a hopeful moment, foolishly
Uh-huh.
hopeful moment. And here we go. What's a tencha, you guys? Shastra or
Commentaries.
classical comment. He's referring. So usually tencha refers to
Classical commentary.
yeah, classical commentary written between roughly 150 AD to 1000 AD. Okay, usually those are shastras or classical commentaries. So we would expect him to be referring to a classical commentary written between 150 to 1000 AD. And it happens to be Dulwe Dotsawa. What's that? Yeah, the Vinaya Sutra, which is not a sutra. Okay. Like in the word Yoga Sutra, it just means a short book. Okay. It does not mean a teaching given by the historical Buddha. Okay. And that's unusual, uncommon. So the Vinaya Sutra was written much later, in I think it's the 6th century or something. So Sawa means the root text of the Vinaya Sutra. I'm going to tell you the Chidun.
General.
Yeah, the general meaning. I mean, he's not going to do a dialectic analysis. He's going to do an overview. Okay. Thank God. Because it's this. No, the overview is 50-year project. The dialectic analysis would be dialectic analysis is in debate format. And he claims that he's not going to do it, but I think he does. Okay. Tikchen means the great commentary. Tika is a Sanskrit word that means commentary, the great commentary. And then he says Rinchen Chewa. Okay. And what is that? Rinchen Chewa? Ratnamala, or the string of jewels or something like that. And it can refer to a rosary made of jewels, okay, like diamond or turquoise or sapphire or something. Okay. And that's the name of a very famous and major Vinaya commentary by Gendun Drup, the first Dalai Lama. And by the way, he was not the first Dalai Lama in his lifetime. He was recognized two lifetimes later. Okay. He was a young student of Tsongkhapa and not very remarkable during Tsongkhapa's lifetime, but later he became a great commentator. He's sort of what do you call it? He's sort of Western in his style. He's not he doesn't have this debate flair that Gyaltsab Je has or Kedub Je has. He's kind of more plods along through an outline or something like that. Very thorough and dry. Okay. I worked on his Abhidharma commentary for 12 years, so I can say. Rinchen Chewa, so he wrote a book called the String of Jewels, which is a great Vinaya commentary, major commentary on the Vinaya. And this book by Lodru Leksang, Panchen Lodru Leksang, who's not a Panchen. Panchen just means great Pandita Chembo, okay? He wrote a book called Gonggen, which means what? Yeah, it's like an ornament for the true intention. Okay, Gongba means the true intention. What the author had deep in mind. Okay, who's the author of Vinaya Sutra? Gunaprabha. Yeah. So Gong means what did he really have in mind? And why does Lodru Leksang call his book an ornament, alankara? Why does he call it a piece of jewelry? Yeah, whenever you call a commentary an ornament, like Abhisam Alankara, it means, look, the original book was beautiful, and I'm just adding some accoutrement, which is gonna make her more beautiful. Okay, so when you see Gen in a title, Alankara, it means extra jewelry, like earrings or necklace or something like that. Okay, so why is it an extra jewelry?
Because the original commentary is already very beautiful.
Yeah, the first High Lama, can we say? The first High Lama's commentary is already beautiful, and he's just adding some makeup. Okay, all right. She's already beautiful. I'm just putting some eyeshadow on her, like that. That's the idea again. Okay, so now we got 3 levels of commentary. What?
Vinaya Sutra.
You got and then you got the high teacher, and then you've got Lodru Leksang. Who's down here?
Oh, Buddha.
All the early Vinaya texts.
Oh.
And in John Brady's database, there's a huge amount of material there. There's many hundreds of pages of Vinaya texts, okay, already input for us to use, and they're amazing, okay? You cannot, those are the oldest language that we're dealing with. We have 12 translators. I divided into 8 separate languages. We are studying 8 separate languages, and they are different languages. That's why we have 12 translators. We're studying 8 different languages. And the oldest one is the language of the Vinaya and the Sutras, okay? So Xiaoping's book, in one way, is the most difficult. They're all the most difficult, did you notice? Okay. So means herein contained is this book, okay? This kind of thing where you see DD in data, when you see DD from ALL data, it means there is a carving of a teacher, there's an illustration in the text. Okay, so we have a special escape code, it's called DD, and that means that if you're interested in getting an illustration of this person, you search for DD near their name in the database. The database has like total 12 million pages right now. And every time there's a drawing of a teacher, we made a note in the data. So you search for DD near a person's name, and you can find every drawing of them in history. And so this is a drawing of Dilue Denu Du Ke Nyewa Kor. Who's Nyewa Kor? Upali. Okay, so this Dilue Denu means the Vinaya Pitaka of the 3 baskets of scripture, the basket called Vinaya, or ethical teachings, okay? Nyedu means he's the main person who put together the Pitaka of Vinaya. He's the main person who organized Lord Buddha's teachings on ethical behavior after the Buddha's time. Okay, that's called the 3 baskets, right? So he's the one who took care of that basket. Duke means he was a really good organizer of one of the 3 great subject categories of the teachings. And he was kind of in charge of collecting the teachings on Vinaya, okay? Why did they have to be collected?
Lord Buddha died and all the teachings were with each person in their mind.
Yeah, Lord Buddha didn't write anything. He just spoke things. And then later they had to collect, they had to have big meetings, and they say, what did you hear? And then they would say, Evam Maya Shrutam. Okay, good. And Nyewa Kor means Upali. This is a great thing if you want to see what he looked like. Search the ALL database for DD near his name, and you'll see, and you'll find every carving of his face or his body in all of the wood carvings. You see what I mean? It's very fun. It's really fun to do that. I think I might have it here. Let me see.
Yeah, what is DD center?
Yeah, here's the particular carving, by the way. Okay, Nyewa Kor, see here? I don't know, he looks kind of tired to me. But maybe that's maybe I'm projecting.
It's trying to memorize all this.
Okay. Okay, here we have the opening verse, Xiaoping, and you can pick on somebody else. It's more fun.
Oh, let me see who's here. Um, it, Katrin, are you translating?
Today, Xiaoping.
Okay. Are you reading or no? Oh, he's just translating. Okay. Juan, would you like to read?
Okay. Okay. Nimagen tang dulcin au pali
Yes.
Just pronounce it Yeah, upali.
upali Jingyen Shaptang de se yunten u shakya utang chuki shengen so. Pak yul kepe dulcin namla du.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good job. We read a little tiny bit of this last time. And Nime Nyen means the friend of the sun. The Sanskrit has three different variations. I don't know which one he means here. But basically Surya Mitra. Surya means sun and Mitra means friend. So that refers to Lord Buddha himself, okay? His nickname was friend of the sun, right? And Dulzen means Vinaya keeper, Vinaya holder, Upali. And I'm going to show you guys something. So there's Upali, and we talked about it last time. But if we go up here to the original, here's the same line in the old wood block, and it says Nyewar Kor, which is the Tibetan translation of Upali. You see what I mean? The first line here. And then the other carving, someone has replaced Nyewar Kor with Upali. Someone has taken out the Tibetan translation of his name and replaced it with the original Sanskrit. And it's like that. The whole, you're talking 3,000-4,000 pages in English. Someone has gone through and changed every sixth or seventh word carefully, accurately. And I've never seen such a thing. And why would they do it? Who would do it? When did they do it? It's hard to tell. We know from these carvings of the pictures that the second carving was done about 200 years after Lodru Leksang. Maybe someone else messed with the text. I don't know, but they're good. Whoever they are, they're good. I'm going to buy it. Okay. But I just tell you, I like to call this the Upali version, because already on the first page he has replaced Upali with the old Sanskrit name. He's replaced Nyewar Kor, which means Upali, with Upali. Okay, all right. Okay. So I bowed down to Gautama Buddha. I bowed down to Upali. I bowed down to the next person in this person's mind, the next Vinaya holder. He calls them all Vinaya holders, is Yignin. Yeah. Who we don't normally think of as a Vinaya holder. But if you're going to define 8 languages of Buddhism, and if you wanted to justify for a big sponsor in a big report that you just sent them this week, you would say the 8 languages have to survive in this world. It's not a question of translating the Kangyur or the Tengyur or the it's not the point. If you wanted to do a Xuanzang's tower, if you wanted to translate Buddhism, and if you wanted Buddhism to survive in this world, you have to preserve those 8 languages. You see what I mean? It's not a question of working through the Tengyur or working through the Kangyur or something like that. You have to find 12 nerds who can keep alive 8 different languages. Why 12 if you only need 8? Because Buddha said things are important. Okay. So I built in some redundancy. Okay. Who's gonna die first? I don't know. But these 8, if you have a translation project, the point is to preserve the 8 languages. They're like Abhidharma language, Vinaya language, Majjhimika language, mind-only language, and they are separate languages. They are totally separate languages. You see, so you have to train a group of at least eight human beings, and they have to know the 8 different languages, or you are not preserving Buddhism. You will miss something. Mind only will get lost, or lower middle way will get lost, or something like that. You see, so that's why we designed the mixed nuts the way we did. It wasn't like by accident, and the choice of text is very, very conscious. We are preserving the 8 languages, and if you don't do that, you're gonna lose 12.5% of Buddhism somewhere. See what I mean? And then 2 of those is 25%. So that's the rationale of why this project is going the way it's going. And that was the rationale for inputting ALL in the way we did, or have so far. Yignan Shub, what's Shub? Yeah, to the holy feet.
Holy foot.
It means I bow down and touch the holy feet of Vasubandhu. Okay. And then he says the say of Yignan. Who's the son of Vasubandhu? Yunten Gunaprabha, which is the author of the Vinaya Sutra, who lived hundreds of years after Vasubandhu. So he's being, what do you call it? He's being sweet to Gunaprabha. You're like the holy son of Vasubandhu. Nowadays, I like to translate say as
children,
child or daughter or son.
Daughter.
Yeah, I think the days of translating as son are gone. Okay, you say daughter or son as a translator, especially when you say gyalse. Seriously. Daughter or son of the victorious Buddha, which is Bodhisattva. Okay. Here's another one. Shakya is the Shakya Prabha. And that's another famous Indian Vinaya commentator. Okay. And then you've got Chukishinyan, which is Dharma Mitra. Those of you who are interested, that's Dharma Mitra. By the way, Mitra is not spelled with 2 T's in Sanskrit. There's a lot of Sanskrit names in the modern times which are misspelled. And it's strange because some of them are great teachers. Like who's the one from the Bahamas? Oh, Sivananda. Like that. I mean, the names of teachers have been misspelled and then passed on this way. So anyway, Dharma Mitra with 1 T. And then Pakyu. What's Pakyu? What's the Pakpeyu?
India.
The land of the Aryas, land of the Aryas, the homeland of Buddhism, okay, which is where the Aryas were born, okay, especially Arya Nagarjuna, for example, okay. Pakyu Kepa, master, Dunzin Vinaya holder, I do to you. Yeah, I bow down to you. Okay, how do you say animal? Tiryansh in Sanskrit. I'm sorry. Yeah, Dundo is this. Dundo is the Tibetan for animal, and it means beings who travel bent over. Okay, Tiryansh, and then in an opening lines in a holy book, you're always expecting a prostration to somebody. Okay, that's tradition. As you start writing a Buddhist book, first you bow down to all the great masters who have come before you, and you acknowledge that what you're writing has come from them. Okay, all right. Here's some other discussion. No crying in my class. Word, stop that. Every time he doesn't make $100 in 10 minutes, he starts crying. I don't know what it is. Okay. Who's up, Xiaoping?
Svetlana, would you like to read?
Svetlana.
Tu wang nipan yamme tsongkapa, seki tu vogyelca dampatang, keshin drupan yepe gelek vel, gedun drup sok yapse nam latud.
Wow, nice.
I don't know if you're one of those amazing readers, you must be word student. Kind of irritating. Okay. By the way, I don't mind children noises, okay? We got to train the next generation. All right. What's Tupe Wangbo, you guys?
The able one.
Lord of the able ones.
Yeah. Muni Indra, which means the Lord of the able ones, which means Lord Buddha, Gautama Buddha. Okay. Who's the number 2 Buddha in the world? Tsongkhapa. Okay. And Yame means matchless. Okay. So I bow down to the matchless Tsongkhapa, who is like the second Buddha to show up in this planet. Okay. And he was, and he is. Okay. It's not an exaggeration. Then Tuo means like main or Zhou. It's the same as Zhou. So who was the main daughter or son of Tsongkhapa? Yeah, Gyaltsen. Okay. Yeah. And by the way, we just today we finished Nick's book's introduction, and we worked really hard on Gyaltsen biography. I think it's the best ever finished. And it's done. It was finished this morning. So if you're interested to know more about Gyaltsen, it's an extraordinary biography. And we put it together from many, many sources. Luckily, we have John Brady's database. Okay. Who's Keshin Drupa? Wise and accomplished. Yeah, Kedrup. Kedrup, okay, that's Kedrup J. Okay, so his name, Kedrup, means wise and accomplished. And they put Kedrup. By the way, it refers to a theoretical knowledge of Buddhism and then a practical retreat knowledge of Buddhism. And that's called Kedrup. That's called Keshin Drupa. So K means, scholarly knowledge. And then Drupa means more like deep retreat knowledge. And if you have both, we call you Kedrup. Okay, that's Tsongkhapa's number 2 son. Okay, Kedrup, Keshin Drupa Nyepa means he achieved K and Drup. He achieved theoretical knowledge of Buddhism and he achieved the practical knowledge of Buddhism in deep retreat. He's K Drup. And his monk's name was Gelek Pel. Okay. And Gelek means goodness and goodness, virtue, goodness in the sense of moral goodness, and then goodness in the sense of good quality. Okay, Gelek. Gelek Rinpoche was a wonderful Lama in my Lama's time. Pel means Shri or glorious. We often add it to the end of people's names in India. Okay. Sri Dharmamitra or something. Okay. And then he's mentioned Tsongkhapa. He's mentioned his number 1 student, Gyaltsen. He's mentioned his number 2 student, Kedrup. And then he throws in his 3rd famous student, Gendun Drup. Okay, the first High Lama. Okay, Gendun Drup, first Dalai Lama. So, Yapse Nam Ladu. I bow down to the Yup, and I bow down to the Se.
Father and children.
Yeah, the father and the children. Good. The carved collection of these lamas books is called Yapse Sumbum. For example, the books of the father and the 2 children. Okay. All right. I was curious myself if he's just naming big lamas or did they write any Vinaya? You see what I mean? I was just curious. I do stuff like that. So did he bow down to these lamas because they influenced the Vinaya lineage? Or is he just doing generic bow downs? Okay. And I thought you might be interested in the results of my research. When we did the King of the Dharma book, me and what's her name? Ballet dancer. Ava. Yeah, Ava. We did a bibliography of everything that Tsongkhapa wrote, and we studied it, and we cleaned it up, and we organized it by subject. And so I went to that book and pulled out all of Tsongkhapa's Vinaya books. And here's what he wrote, okay, from the King of the Dharma. General commentaries on vowed morality. He wrote the brief essence of the ocean of discipline. That's the root text that Xiaoping translated a commentary to for the last 7 years. And we finished it, okay. Tsongkhapa also wrote that famous letter to Gunaprabha. What's it called? No, it's not. It's a different letter. This is the letter where he says, we used it in the ACI courses.
Course 9, yeah.
Yeah, he had just finished ordaining the first monks in the East. And he got a letter of we used it in the ACI courses because it talks about the relationship, I think, between Vinaya and meditation or something. Then there's Vinaya Vastu, which are the basic practices of Vinaya. He wrote a book on that. Here's his major work on Vinaya. He wrote a commentary on the monk's vows. This is a series of lectures that he gave at a monastery called Namche Deng or Namtsik Deng. And it was a very, very famous series of lectures by him and some other lamas. It was a team teaching Vinaya festival. And it's extraordinary. And Gyaltsab took notes. And those notes became the greatest commentaries on the monk's vows ever. And I taught them at a famous event at Diamond Mountain, which was, I'm not going to say anything. And he did for full monks, and he did for novice monks at the same Dharma festival. He gave extraordinary teachings on those vows. Okay. Then he did a few shorter pieces. So we can say that Tsongkhapa is a Vinaya holder, Duanzin, and it's appropriate that we're bowing down to him at the beginning of this book. Now, what's the next question? Is Gyaltsab a Vinaya holder? Okay. And here's other books by actually I took this out of Nick's book. I cut this out of Nick's book, which, by the way, as we translate more and more books, we have more and more opportunities to cut stuff out of people's books in English. So this is a description of how Gyaltsab wrote the Namtsik Deng lectures down, how he edited them. Okay, so we can call him a Vinaya
Holder
keeper. Now, how about the first High Lama, Gendin Dru? Oh, by the way, K2J books on Vinaya, 0. Okay, no surviving books by K2J on Vinaya. Okay, wasn't he interested in it? Of course, he was interested in it. Did he write any major commentaries? No, not even no minor commentaries. He didn't write anything about it. Okay, and by the way, Gyaltsab didn't write any original books about Vinaya. Okay, and they focused on emptiness. Okay? And they focused on the Bodhisattva Vinaya. They focused on Bodhisattva vows. And they did not focus on monastic vows. And I'm tempted to say that they perceived Bodhisattvas as the new monks. I'm tempted to say that by the time of Khedrubje and Gyaltsabje, they perceived the Bodhisattva code as replacing the Vinaya code. You see what I mean? And they were more interested in, they wrote hundreds and thousands of pages on the Bodhisattva code, but they didn't spend their time talking about the measurement of a kitchen, or, you see what I mean? It's interesting. To me, it's interesting. That's worth a study. Somebody should study it. Okay. Although I have to say, Gyaltsabje designed Ganden Monastery, and he carefully followed the Vinaya for that. He's known to have followed the Vinaya in the design of the monastery. For example, in the limiting the food preparation space, because the monks were supposed to be out begging for their food. So, he's famous for designing Ganden Monastery to fit the Vinaya. Okay, so he knew it and he implemented it, but it wasn't his main thing. Okay, Gyaltsabje Drup wrote, again, he's more of a, what do you call that? Those books in Judaism, Torah. He's a Torah scholar. He plods through things in great detail, and he wrote this Vinaya commentary, which our author is using as his basis. Okay, so can we say that that Lodru Leksang, our author, bows down to Tsongkhapa, his two main students, and the first Dalai Lama? Can we say he's bowing down to Vinaya masters?
Yes.
Kind of. I mean, Khedrubje, we got to leave him out. It looks like more of a generic bow down. Okay, got it? And I was just curious, was he really taking the time to isolate the great masters of the Vinaya, or was he just bowing down to his lineage? And it's a little bit mixed. Okay. All right, next one, Xiaoping. Who's going to read?
Anatole, are you there? Would you like to read?
Sure, thank you. Lapsum nam da top den ser shop man
Anatole, heavy prenasal on the LD.
Domden.
Domden, and it's almost an M. Okay, it's a weird thing. Domden, yeah.
Domden ser shop man
Good.
lungi nga dak cherki drak
Good.
rik malo dro gyatso dang
Nice.
rap wangchup yeshe drak lan dud.
Nice. By the way, Anatole is really, really helping with the editing of the Mixed Nuts books. And thank you, Anatole. And God bless that you're so good at it. And because we can't survive. There's too many books coming out for poor Venerable Upala, who's, sits for 18 hours a day and works on it. And it's still too much. So it's nice to have another person helping. Lapsum. What's Labasum, Anatole? Oh, I just praised him, and he
trainings.
the three trainings. Yeah, the three trainings of what?
Buddhism.
I'm of Buddhism. No, of Zoroaster. No. What are the three trainings?
What are the three trainings?
Yeah.
Trainings on wisdom,
meditation, and
Vinaya.
ethics. Good. Okay. Namdak means his practice of the three trainings was very high. And then his personal name is Tomden Uzer. Okay. Shab means his holy feet. I bow down at the holy feet of Tomden Uzer. Now I have a proposal, and we have to move this way if we're going to finish all the work we have to finish. I did not look these guys up. I did not study the books they wrote. That's something I don't need to do. Other people can do it. So I challenge you, probably Dr. Kramer and and Xiaoping work together, or somebody. And I want you to look up these 4 teachers in the BDRC database, and I want you to list the Vinaya books that they wrote. I can tell you from the smell of the verse that they are real Vinaya masters. We got to the real guys. Okay. And I want to know what books they wrote. And then, Nick, what are we going to do?
Get them input. Find the scans.
Yeah, we're going to find
first
the
we can
scans.
see if they're in our already input data, which they could be.
They are not much, I can tell you that. So these are 4 Vinaya masters. Our author is bowing down to them, which means our author might have pulled a lot of his stuff from them. So in the mixed nuts methodology, we're going to input all their works immediately, okay? And that'll be probably hundreds and hundreds of pages of input. And John Brady's team is so powerful. They can do a book in a week. They can input a hundreds of page book in a week, 5 times. It goes through 5 passes. People typing it 5 times, and they can do it in a week. That's how good they are. They're amazing. I used to do it at a monastery, 12 monasteries, and I fired all of them and turned it over to these amazing ladies. And they're high quality and they are fast. Okay. Anyway, so you're going to look up Dom Dennis there. Help him out, Dr. Kramer, or somebody else. Okay. Mangte means what?
Happy to.
Thank you.
Heard a lot of teachings. Okay. Means very learned. Mangte. Lungi Ngadak means?
Someone who possesses or is a holder of the lineage.
Yeah, the very master of the word. Okay. And Ngadak means Lord. And his name is Chekidharma. Who's it not?
Dharmakirti.
It's not Dharmakirti. It's not Dharmakirti. It's someone who was named after Dharmakirti. Why? With this Bowie thing is going
chronological
time on a time scale. They're going through time. First we did Lord Buddha, then we did Upali, and then we got through, Yunde Gunaprabha, who wrote the Vinaya Sutra. Then we reached the early Tibetans, Tsongkhapa, Gedubje, Gyaltsabje, and first Dalai Lama. Then we got to these guys. These are not ancient Indian guys. These are people who were named after the ancient Indian guys, okay? So we got to find this Chokidar who wrote some good Vinaya stuff. And we're going to get the scans from BDRC, God bless them. I kiss their feet. And then we're going to input them, okay? Why? Our author used them. And when we have a question, we can go to his sources, okay? All right, $100 for Ludo Rigpa, except word. Shishumna is okay.
It's a logic based on the way that things work.
Yeah, good. I'll give it to you. $100. Yeah. Ludo Rigpa is a very, very difficult word. Lu means direct. Top means power. Rigpa means logic. Ngutop Rigpa is an ancient word for deduction.
Deduction, yeah.
Like if you come into this room and there's a heavy banana smell, that's a direct perception. But you can deduce that somebody was eating bananas in here. And that's called Ngutop Rigpa. Knowledge based on the real thing. Knowledge based on the entity. Which means based on the banana smell, you can say somebody was in here eating bananas. Okay, got it? That's called deduction, ngutop rikpa. But the word is power of the thing thinking. Power of the thing thinking. What's the thing in this case? Banana smell. Okay, ngutop rikpa. It's a very unusual word and it's extremely hard to translate correctly. Deduction. What? Power based on the thing. Power based on understanding based on the power of the thing. Banana peel smell.
Do you have a favorite
Okay, got it?
translation of this phrase, Gen?
No, I was afraid you're going to ask me that. I probably do, but I forgot it. Okay.
We're at time, by the way.
I would call it deduction. I wouldn't try. By the way, Ben Kramer, I'm setting you up. And I've been having this discussion with you late at night, many days. We cannot translate logic the way the Tibetans did. You know, we cannot say other entity, power, knowledge for deduction. And the people who have tried to translate it that way have created translations that no one could ever read, ever. And they just give up. People just give up. So we're gonna have to, even the first line, the opening lines of Ben Kramer's book. Ben Kramer's project is a 60-year project. And the opening lines are not, you cannot understand them at all in Tibetan unless you're a debate, unless you've studied it. Okay, we have Tibetan people come and listen to the debates. They're not allowed in. They can lean over the wall and listen, and it's wonderful to see how confused they are. You know, they don't understand a single sentence for 4 or 5 hours, and we can't do that. We can't publish translations like that. It won't fly in America. Only 20 people are going to buy the books, even if we translate them well. And we're 20 if we say entity, power, knowledge, you know. Okay. Lodru Gatso, we got to look him up, see what Vinaya book he wrote. I know I'm out of time. Stop telling me. Canada Wangchuk. What's Wangchuk? Ishvara. Yeah, the god, the very god of Canada, of knowledge. The very god of knowledge, whose name is Geshe Dakpa. Okay, Geshe Dakpa. So he has named here, in his obeisance, in his prostration, he has bowed down to 4 great Vinaya masters from Tibet. I don't know them, which means they're not that famous. But if we could find their books, it would be a big breakthrough. So there's the ALL. I'm requesting ALL's help. All right, Xiaoping, we'll stop there, okay?
Thank you so much.
Can I verify? This is Tokten Öser Dak Chigi Jok? I mean Chigi Jokpa, but the name is spelled weird. Lodru Gyatso Geshe Jokpa. These are the 4 lamas.
Oh, the 4 names here, if I'm to guess, it would be Tomden Öser, and then it would be Chigi Jokpa, and then it would be Lodru Gyatso, and it would be Geshe Jokpa. Yeah.
Great, yeah.
Just from the standard format. So good luck finding them, you know. Like Lodru Gyatso, there's going to be 5 of them. And you got to find out which one was a Vinaya master, okay? Is it the 20th today?
Yes.
Okay.
True.
You can, I think we have Nick. Oh, Xiaoping is going to lead a discussion of why today's class is usable by a normal person. And Grandpa's going to drink Invir chai, ginger tea. And,
Thank you, Grandpa. Thank you very much.
Yeah, and Xiaoping, you're going to lead the discussion. There's one person in here that you could never guess who it is, has their hand up to start the conversation if you want, but you can choose anybody you want. Okay.
Oh, I'm happy to invite that person. Can you?
Okay, come on, person. Here she comes. It's Olga. Okay.
Oh,
Here we go. Okay. I guess I could go to the. All right, Xiaoping. I'm taking a break.
Thank you so much,
I've
Geshe.
been this class today have been especially fruitful for my thought, and I've got actually 3 things that we can use in our practice.
Yes.
So one of them, 2 of them actually, concern the editing, the translation work that I'm in. And I am sorry, I'm going to speak slowly now because the translators have
are having a breakdown.
Yes, they said that we want to translate what you're saying because they feel some value in that. I'm not sure, but they asked me, so I will speak slowly. And sorry, translator. I'm myself a translator. I don't know how it could happen that I was speaking so fast. I'm sorry.
When you talk about talking fast, you got to slow down.
Okay. So the 2 live tools from today's class are specifically for translators, are the guidelines for translators. First of them is that Vinaya Sutra, and sometimes Sutra has a different meaning than what it usually means. So as translators, we always need to remember that words sometimes might have different meanings than what we think we know they mean.
What's an alternate English translation of Vinaya Sutra that you might use?
Alternate English translation?
Yeah, don't use Sanskrit. I mean, it's silly to translate Vinaya Sutra as Vinaya Sutra.
That's we need to think about it. The English without
what is in Yoga Sutra? What does sutra mean? A short book. Call it a short book. A short book on ethics.
Yeah.
See, that's the translation. Don't call it sutra.
Yeah.
It's so frustrating. People say, Vajracharika Sutra, and you're like, could you translate, please?
A short book on ethics could be another advanced level of DCI.
Yeah.
That's 4th, actually. That's 4th live tool from today. So what I was going to mention is that sometimes words have different meanings, and we as translators, we learned at school one meaning, but the word might have another meaning as well. And I've been a final editor of many translations of Geshe-la's different projects and programs, and I know that oftentimes translators just miss that, and there were like funny things going on, but sometimes we really need to check the dictionary, even if we think we know the word. Or we need to, second tool, we need to gather together, because the students of Lord Buddha, they got together and asked each other, what did you hear? How did you understand this? Let's write it down for further generations together. It wasn't someone's individual kind of masterpiece, right? And that's very important that we need to do as translators. We need to all discuss all together. And some, maybe one translators who isn't invited might bring a really valuable input that will stay for further generations.
Cool. Now let's let someone else try.
Okay.
Who else has got an idea? Thank you. Great idea. Hi. Xiaoping, you got another victim?
Yeah, let me see somebody online. If you want to share, you can always raise your hand so I can see you.
They're too scared. You're gonna have to pick them.
Oh,
how would you use this in your real life?
Okay. 梁翠玲 would you like to share?
分享吗？
对。
Thank you very much. I feel
junk.
我可以说中文吗？
Okay, she want to say English. Yeah, sure. I can translate for you.
Thank you.
Oh, no, there's somebody can translate. Sure.
我听到的一个点是，我们要好好学习这8种语言，才能很好的将这些古老的经典保存下来。我听到这个点的时候，我觉得，翻译们是特别特别了不起的。其实我内心也很想去做如此有意义的事情。
好的，谢谢。So in case you don't hear the English translation, I translate what she said. She said, what I heard today is that it's very important to learn the 8 different languages so we could preserve them. So I feel that all these translators are amazing. I also want to do this kind of thing. Thank you. Thank you. Wonderful. Yeah, another person?
Just study with Mr. Word.
Yeah.
Come
Marina?
on, you guys.
No?
Marina.
Alex Riva, are you translating? Oh, okay. Jacqueline, would you like to share?
Sure. I was just thinking about who the author was bowing down to, and I remember you all saying that that is a message for what's going to be talked about in the book. I took this bowing down, this general bowing down to the lineage as like a reminder of how important it is to pass these teachings on, and perhaps even for people to take vows so that the Dharma will stay in this world.
Nice.
That's all I got.
Wow, thank you. Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Go ahead, Xiaoping.
Yeah,
you go ahead. You were going to say something, but
Oh, sorry. Yes, we are talking about not only we study the disciplines, also very important is that we take the vows and we apply them individually. Thank you.
I have this Geshe. Yeah, go ahead.
So for me, thinking about the lineage and that everything that we've ever learned has been passed down to us from the past, and to have incredible gratitude for them, and to know that that's where we've learned everything from walking and reading and Tibetan or whatever it is, and how important that is to recognize and not think that you're just standing here and doing it all by yourself.
Yeah, and I think whatever, I mean, those past lineages, it was hard work. It was, it was a lot of fundraising. And, we do all this fundraising, we do all this hard work, and we think we're different, but when every generation did it. Somebody carved a stupid book. I mean, gosh, that's like 5-6 years of work for 10, 20 people. And somebody has to pay them, and that's the way it is. That's the way it's always been. Yeah.
Thank you. I think all of us here today are all contributing to the preservation of this priceless knowledge. And I saw Diamond Mountain people. Would you like to share?
We got 2 minutes. Anybody here? Dr. Brady, you have any? You want to say anything? You can come up. I got John Brady here. Let's get it from the horse's mouth. That's a Xiaoping, do you know this idiom?
No.
We say from the horse's mouth. It means from the true source.
Oh.
I'm thinking we should go through the catalog entries in Mongolia as well. For some of these titles. Hi, Xiaoping.
How do you think people could use today's class in real life? Or what lessons do you gain from today's class?
Don't you just want to get ordained?
Nah, I got cured.
Come on, I mean, it does feel that way to me. I think the lineage is alive and well. That's one of the most important components that comes across in this class, that you're the living, breathing recipients of what we're doing for the next 32 generations forward. I mean, that's what's going on. And it's almost like we can pinch ourselves to realize that we're a thread to keep it alive. And we have to continue doing the work. And it makes me cry because it's so incredibly beautiful. And I bow at your lotus feet, all you translators who use the database. Thank you.
Thank you for the database.
Thank you so much.
Okay, Xiaoping, I'm going to kick you out. We got to go to the world news from the best restaurant in the world.
Thank you for the teaching. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to see your homework. Mr. Juan Hasso.
Hello, Geshe. How are you?
I'm going to unpin myself. How do I do that? No. Unpin? Oh, there we go. Go for it, Hasso.
Hey, it's good to see you all over there again. So first of all, today we want to share with you just a few of the upcoming events just before we move on to have a small talk with Rob Haggerty. So Rob Haggerty, be ready in about 2-3 minutes. Then we're going to have a special talk with Utpala. She's going to share with us.
Hasso, Rob
yes.
Haggerty's getting ready with the refreshments. I don't know.
I can see that. He's walking around. But in the meantime, let me just show you a few events that are coming up very soon that you may want to know about, okay? So I'm gonna share my screen with you and talk about these events. From YSI, we have a few upcoming events very soon, and the closest one is this one. Next Wednesday, they are having a special Lady Niguma for the World event hosted by Veronica Ho at 8 p.m. New York time. So if you're interested, it's in 2 days from now. They also have this special event they are gonna be hosting in Kyoto in December. This is very cool because they just found this new distributor called, I think it's Prema. And very good teachers are gonna be teaching the classes there, like Earl, Connie, Benji, Alfonso, Bob as well. So check it out from December 12th to December 18th in Japan. They are the first distributors of Lady Niguma there in Japan. Check it out. Next, they're gonna be having the yoga retreat, Hatha Yoga Pradipika in Diamond Mountain, December 27th to January 2, the 2nd. And this is a great chance to start using some of the kriyas that the Hatha Yoga Pradipika talks about. So it's like a very practical retreat. It may be very interesting. Earl is gonna be running that retreat in Diamond Mountain. And just after that, a few days later, we're gonna have the Hatha Yoga Pradipika happening at the Sedona College, January 18 to January 19. So for all of you that may be interested in going to Kyoto, I just want to give a quick reminder that the Sedona College is having their summit over there. If you want to be part of it, follow the QR codes. There is the Telegram, the WeChat QR code. Sugen and his wife Xingtian are organizing this event. It's going to be very cool. Special meetings, special events, parties, laughs, fun, and interesting topics. Check it out. If you go to Japan, you should check it out. And of course, this is kind of a part of a bigger program called The Power to Dream. That's happening December 5th to the 11th. Over there in Kyoto, Japan. I have here beautiful things about it. Check it out if you have the time. It's coming up very soon. And just to finish, to remind you all that we have this project, John Brady's private community on Patreon. We just had JB a few moments ago, but if you want to hear more about what he has to say about his own personal experience applying this ancient wisdom, or special meditations, special classes, check this website where you can get more in contact of every material that he is sharing these days. Okay, just as a reminder, that was the news for today. And now we go with Rob Haggerty because he has a very cool news to share with us. Rob, are you around?
Hi.
Hey,
No, you have to cut this one.
Totally good.
Stop this. Yeah, okay.
Hi.
Hey, Rob, I just saw you got a new car. How's that?
Yeah, I did.
Boy,
that was my 4-step system result. Yeah.
What's your advice for all of us simple mortals who want to achieve our dreams like you?
To get a car?
Anyone.
And go help somebody who needs to buy a car.
He's been helping a lot of people to buy cars. He helped the Ukrainian refugees to buy cars, and he helped my sister-in-law to buy cars, and
then we're getting Geshe.
He does all the hard work.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll have to talk to you more in depth soon. But for now, tell us more about your new project that I think many of us really appreciate. It's very interesting. Like for many, many months, I was hoping that something like that come out and be available for the public. And now you just managed to put together Geshe Michael's calendar. So can you tell us a little bit about that? How did you put it together? And where can we access it? How can we use it for?
I mean, I didn't put it together. Geshe took it for, he was working on it, I think, for how long did you have to sit with it? For 2 months?
Took about 2 months.
Yeah. So he took his paper calendar away on vacation and kind of mapped out this whole year, essentially, which he was suggesting, I think many of us do, is to sort of like, maybe in all of our lives, maybe getting a paper calendar and looking at all the kind of things that we want to accomplish throughout the year, not just courses, but maybe goals, which I think is a really great idea. So I've sort of done the same thing. So we can look at our whole year and see kind of where we want to go. And then I think it allows students around the world who want to maybe plan their lives, because everyone has busy lives, regular jobs, or married or relationships. That's and it's funny because the reality is that like what I posted online, and which you'll upload in a little bit, is sort of like the public version of his calendar, and you can see in there sort of the times that he's doing things like translation or prepping. But what we didn't put in there is a lot of it's like personal stuff, which is quite a big thing. So,
Rob,
yeah.
I guess Geshe may have the microphone because he stood up and now we can hear you.
Are you hear that right now?
Do you mind I put this?
Your mic, Dan.
He wants to go to the.
Does that help?
Perfect.
Can you hear? Okay. Did you hear all the baby noises?
Yes.
He was playing with Sushumna. Yeah. Yes, I don't know what you heard actually.
Not much. Just something about. No, I don't know.
Well, I'll tell you what, when you asked me about this, I wanted to, I thought the main thing was how do I talk about this applying to real life, I think. And I think the main takeaway I've taken is sort of not being afraid to do jobs or roles that are maybe not in your comfort zone, and sort of give you that ability to maybe grow and move outside of your comfort zone, and challenge yourself. And so for me, it's been something like that, which has allowed my mind to sort of see how someone else is seeing the world and how their time is affected, and sort of stepping outside of me and then stepping outside of my comfort zone and like really learning a new skill set, which at the end of the day, I think really helps us grow as sort of a human being.
That's very cool, Rob. And where can we access this public calendar that it's ready nowadays? Where can we take
I put it in the Dropbox actually, and if you didn't get it, we could probably upload it into the chat. So there's a PDF that we made for the most recent SCIM session. And on the bottom, there's two links, one for people who have a Google platform and others who might be more useful of a Microsoft platform. So in this way, it incorporates everyone in the world, regardless of sort of like what region they're in.
Okay, thank you very much. So you all know now that there is like an official calendar, Geshe Michael's calendar, available. You can use it to, if you're interested in specific teachings or traveling here, traveling there, it's a very good tool to have. You know what's coming up soon, you know what just happened, and that may be very useful to make some good plans. Okay,
yeah.
Rob, thank you very much. I'll talk to you again soon. And now we're gonna go to Utpala.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. How are you?
Good, thank you as well. I cannot see you yet, but I can hear you very well.
Okay.
Marina, I think, is gonna help us soon, or somebody to spotlight you. Ah, yes, perfect. So, as you may know, Utpal is one of the Mixnos translators, and these days we are on this task of letting you all know a little bit more about each one of the translators by getting to know a little bit more of their background, their likes, their dislikes, their hobbies, and every other things. So today we have the chance to spend some time with Utpala. So I would like to start asking you, Utpala, if you can tell us the first, how did you got involved into this interest for this ancient wisdom, and how little by little your inclination was more towards like the very scholarly and translation side of things? How, I mean, did you study something in high school or in college that started taking you there? What's your story about that?
Well, actually, it's just simply that I was diagnosed as suicidal when I was younger, young adult. And I had tried everything. I had every perfect boyfriend everyone could have. I had every perfect job. I had every perfect diploma and degree. And I was not happy. And a friend suggested that I try meditation. And so I first went to a Goenka style meditation retreat, which I found kind of, boring. And because it was just my mind yelling at myself for 10 days. And then the next thing I did is I went to a retreat on the Lam Rim. And, they talk about like when a seed pops open, it was just so very clear. Immediately my depression disappeared. It has never returned. When I heard about the wish to achieve enlightenment, it was like, that's my purpose. That's my purpose, that everyone should have true happiness that is outside of a cycle of suffering. It just made complete and perfect sense to me. And so every opportunity I took, I went to teachings and did retreats, and yeah.
How old were you when you started studying this ancient wisdom?
I think I was 35, 36, something like that.
Okay. And
I'm 64.
Wow. So 35, 30, about 30 years of.
Yeah.
And how did you, I don't know, move into the translation? Did you ever find like attracted to languages, or it was more of the pursuit of the wisdom inside of the books?
For me, I've always had an interest in words and in communication. I've always been involved with words, whether writing or editing, in my professional, in my scholastic life. And I really had no idea that translation would be something that I could do. It's just by the kindness of my Lama that I'm doing this.
That's awesome. Do you like it?
Do I like it? I love it.
That's awesome.
I have the best job in the world. Absolutely the best job in the world.
I bet. I think this is a very cool time. Thank you for sharing, in the sense that we can get to see a little bit of people's like private life or personalities. I think this segment can be very cool for the audience to connect more with all of you translators, little by little. Still is very short time, as it has happened with other translators, but I think we are all very grateful for you sharing with us these things, and it gives us a little window to access more the lives of these amazing 12 translators. So thank you very much for sharing. We're gonna have to go back to Geshe Michael and Word, and I'll see you next time. Thank you. Back to you again.
Thank you.